Hi guys, a very good evening to all of you. You are warmly welcome to the U.OK webinar series first episode, From Home. So this from home concept is something which is really close to our hearts because of this COVID situation. So because of that, we thought of speaking and discussing about this from home concept throughout this discussion today. So I would like to say that this is an initiative of the Community Services Avenue of the Rotaract Club RACNSBM. So looking forward for a productive discussion. So before moving on with the discussion for the day, I would like to make this an opportunity to introduce you all our guest speakers for the day. So our first speaker is a psychologist at Mind Heals Private Limited, a public speaking and personality development coach, and a Rotarian. So we warmly welcome Ms. Rasini Bandara for the first episode of U.OK webinar series.
Thank you so much, Andrea, and all you amazing protractors to actually inviting me to be a part of this. I'm looking forward for this conversation.
Thank you. So our second speaker is a leading corporate trainer, a presidential award-winning TV personality, an award-winning news anchor, an entrepreneur, an international winning speaker, and the Managing Director of Institute of Essential Studies Private Limited. So we warmly welcome Ms. Bernadine Jayasinghe to the first episode of U.OK.
Thank you very much, and it's amazing to be here, and it's lovely to see the enthusiasm as well. And hi, Rasini.
Hi, Bernadine. Hi. Good to have you. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too.
So I would like to start this session with the broader concept that we are concerning during this webinar series. So the broader concept that we are focusing is stress management and mental health. So sometimes we always say that we are stressed out. Sometimes our friends are telling that we are stressed out, but at the same time, we also don't know actually what this stress means. Sometimes we are just saying to like for the sake of telling that we are stressed out, but we also don't know how to identify this. So my first question is to Ms. Rasini. What is stress?
Okay, so I'll start from this. Stress is something absolutely normal, Andrea. I know that this is a widely used concept and a topic nowadays. If you are not stressed, I think you are not a human. And at the same time, I think the generation uses this statement a lot. I mean, I'm stressed out, I'm stressed out. Actually, you don't stop there. You actually use the word depression in most case scenario. So it's more like if you are not depressed, you're not a part of youth. So stress, like I said, it's very normal. It's a state of mind, right? Or emotional situation that is it's a strain or tension that we experience. Now, the thing you need to understand is that long time ago, a situation or a stressful situation, this very normal reaction that happens in the body, right, was like, for example, people used to go for hunting and gathering, and you are nicely walking in the jungle, and suddenly a tiger jumps from nowhere. And then it's a threatening situation. It's a very challenging situation. So what happens is that I'm not going to go into detail and explain science to you, but a very simple thing. This is actually one of the areas that I really like. So you have a nervous system called sympathetic and parasympathetic. So your sympathetic nervous system kickstarts. For example, very simple things. All the blood started pumping into your heart. Okay. All the other blood flow to all the other organs get cut off. For example, no digestion is happening. No reproduction organs are functioning, right? No other organs, but just all the blood is pumped to your heart, right? And then your pupils dilate, giving you maximum vision, right? All those different, I mean, the glucose starts secreting onto your body because you need energy, right? To run from the tiger or else fight. So it's called the fight or flight response. You have to either fight the tiger or you have to run. You have a third option also. You can play dead, but I don't know how credible that would be. So therefore, fighting the tiger, running away from the tiger. Now, what has happened is nowadays, everything in our life is replaced by this tiger. So your phone goes keek, keek. That's a threatening situation. That's a tiger for you. Okay. Suddenly you're working and you get you suddenly see this email notification popping up. Maybe first word you will read final exam or something like that. Oh, there you go. Tiger for you. You text your boyfriend, right? He's still online, no response. Checking, tiger, tiger, tiger. There you go. So stress is pretty much not something all of us we have to experience, Andrea. It is something we are choosing to experience. In simple words, stress is always perceived, right? It's the way we look at it. For us, getting a reply back from the boyfriend or the girlfriend, if we see it as a very threatening situation, yes, that's going to cause stress for you. If an examination is something that you are extremely fearful and that you have doubts about it, of course it's going to create stress for you, right? If you are expecting something and it getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and the amount of importance you apply onto that particular thing, right, depends on how stressful that is going to be for you, right? So that is how stress is. Stress is not something all of us, let's say you, Bernadine, and myself over here, if we are same age, right? Now you must be thinking, oh yeah, she wish. Okay. No, let's say hypothetical situation. Okay. If we are the same age, right? And then we three are facing an examination, right? Let's say I'm absolutely prepared for it, right? I've been doing work from the day we started this particular course and I'm at it. That's one situation. Let's take Bernadine is somebody who's not sure about this, haven't studied also. Hypothetical Bernadine, okay? But she's like, you know what? Who cares? I might pass, I might fail. That's not the end of the world. That's not going to limit me as a person. It's okay. Whereas Andrea, let's say, who studied, but at the same time, parents have said that, don't you dare come home after failing this examination, right? So 3 situations, right? You and I, both, we have studied, okay? But for me, there is absolute no pressure or tension coming from my family. Whereas for you, there's a lot of tension coming from your family. And that also, it depends on how much your family matters to you as well, the importance that you're giving. If you think, oh, I don't care whatever they say, even if they want to throw me out of the house still, I'll manage something. But if you're somebody who's like, their perception, how they feel, what they think matters to me, that's going to affect you. So in simple terms, stress is pretty much a state of mental or emotional strain or tension, but that always depends on how you're going to look at it. So stress is different from person to person. None of us go through stress in the same level, right? It varies, right? And it's how you look at it. I hope that's clear to you.
Yes, that is because you gave us an explanation regarding stress with a good example which is related to our lives, because exams, we are all facing exams. So I think it's really relatable and it's really clear to the audience what stress means. So my next question is towards Bernadine. So actually sometimes it would be stressful with the assignments and exams, which if you are an undergraduate, we must go through a lot of stress. We might go through a lot of stress because of the examinations and assignments we are doing. And at the same time, if we are a part-time student who's also doing a job, we might have to do our office tasks also. We might have to make presentations. We might have to carry out our own projects. So balancing work life and personal life is something which is really important, not only during this work from home concept period. Before that, even we were focusing on balancing our work life and personal life, because all the time we are trying to be all rounders. We want to live a balanced life. So but in this work from home concept, balancing work life and personal life seems to be a bit difficult because it's not visible. The separation between the work life and personal life is not that much clear for us because we are staying at home. Sometimes we might be listening to a lecture, but at the same time, you might see your sister or your mother passing by. So then there's no separation between your work life and personal life. You're living all these lives at one place. So people might have a blurred line or invisible, like they are not like so much capable of identifying this. So what do you think about this, and what are your opinions about balancing work life and personal life?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question, Andrea. I think this is a very, very, very important question that we really need to discuss about. And I'm happy that Rasini beautifully explained about stress. So my life is easy right now because I don't have to go in detail to that. So talking about balancing life, my goodness, is it a really tough moment for all of us to balance life? I want all our participants maybe to type a yes or a no on the chat box. If you right now, if you're feeling that, I don't know, I'm kind of messed up, maybe it's really hard to focus on my studies and balance my family. And if you are having questions like that, I want you to type a big yes on the chat box. And if you're well balanced, you can say well balanced on the chat box. And if you're lazy to type well balanced, you can put D on the chat box. All right, so I see a huge number of people saying a big yes on the chat box, and I see people saying, oh my God, yes. All right, so I can relate to it, I can understand it. And the beauty is that most of the people nowadays, they're sharing stress, they're giving away negativity and stress. Do you agree with me? Because whenever we give a call to our friends, they say, I don't know how to manage. I have so much of things to do, and my kid is coming and annoying me. I don't know how to balance this. So let me give you the answer. Simple answer I would like to share with you is that undivided attention. How many of you have heard about it? Simply, I would say giving undivided attention. When you're studying, you have to give undivided attention to that. When you're, with your family, you need to give undivided attention to that. And when you're working, you have to give undivided attention to that. And it's very easy for me to say, and it's extremely hard for you to do when it comes to practically doing that. But then, we have to control our mind. If we really want to be successful, if we really want to be happy, if we want to conquer our dreams and goals, and especially if we want to have a balanced life, socially, personally, corporate life, or what. This is undivided attention. Anyone who wants to know what, if you all know what undivided attention, you can say yes on the chat box. And if you're quite confused again, what is undivided attention, you can just say C on the chat box. Maybe till you anyway type it, I'll just say what it is. Because here most of you are university students, so let me relate mainly to university students. See, when it comes to doing certain assignments, I know most of you, because I've been there, right? So when you study, you look at that assignment, you know that you have a deadline to meet, then you want to do that. So what you do is you go sit down and start working on the assignment. And while working on the assignment, you regret about your life. You complain, oh my God, why do they have to give so many assignments, so many online lectures, and all sorts of things? And while you're doing that amazing research or your assignment, you think, I couldn't even watch that Netflix series, and then I could call my friend, and I think my mom is preparing some amazing food. I can just smell it. So everything is going in your head. So my simple answer to you is, if you're going to waste your time thinking about those, I believe that you need to stop that assignment, get up, go to the kitchen and eat. If not, go watch that Netflix series. If not, go sleep if you want to sleep. But if you know if you can't do that because you have a deadline, you have to convince yourself and say, no, I have 20 minutes. I'm going to make that 20 minutes a quality 20 minutes. Secondly, now, when you're on a WhatsApp call with your best friend or friends, or if it's a relationship or whether it's family, I want you to give 100% full attention to that. Now, while talking and having fun with friends, what do we normally do? I'm talking about my past experiences. While laughing and enjoying with friends, I'm thinking, oh my God, I have 2 assignments to finish. And then I think about a motivational speech and think, oh my God, how much of work I have to do to achieve and, become successful. So you're thinking about your past, your future, and you're not living your present. Again, I'm saying it's easy for me to say it. It's hard for you to do when it comes to doing it. But we have to take responsibility and control our mind. Because if we don't control our mind is going to control our life. So I'm going to make this a very quick one because I know not much parents might be here in the audience, but you all will be parents in future. So a quick one, we say sometimes, we talk about housewives, right? I mean, which is amazing, parents do amazing work. But sometimes we say that the mother is always with the kid, right? And then we have a working mom who maybe has like around 1 hour for the kid or 2 hours for the kid. But if you really look at the housewife or the mother who's at home, I really want even the mothers at home to work on this. The reason is sometimes when the kid goes to the mom, like he wants to talk to the mom will be saying, I'm preparing your milk, I'm preparing your food. So the kid is like, okay. And then later the mother sometimes might say, I'm not talking about all parents. I mean, this is like the common situation. And then they'll say that they're preparing lunch. Then again, washing clothes, trying to clean. Like it keeps going. So what people think is, but still they're talking while doing that. So many things are happening simultaneously. But my question is, are we giving full 100% quality attention? So undivided attention is not, doing few things simultaneously. So my humble request or my message would be, if you're talking to someone, look into their eyes and be honest yourself, be genuine and give full attention and give quality time. If you can't, if you have something in your head, tell them, I'm extremely sorry, I want to give you quality time, let me catch up with you later. So I think you can achieve everything if you do like that. And maybe to give a quick one, the second point I want to say is prioritize. You need to know what's important, what's urgent. So when you know what's important and urgent, and when you know how to prioritize things in life, I think you'll have a balanced life.
Thank you. So undivided attention is something which is really important for us because every day we are trying to multitask because we might have to do assignments and also sometimes you might do other stuff. It can be either working in office or listening to a lecture. So multitasking is something which is important, and undivided attention, giving undivided attention to all these things is something which is really important. So I think undivided attention is somewhat relatable to focusing on like giving your 100% focus on something. But if we really want to give 100% focus on something, then again this stress comes from nowhere, and then it bothers us saying, okay, I want to focus on this thing, but at the same time, because of this stress, I can't give like my 100% attention to this. So I would like to ask from Ms. Rasini, what are the ways that we can identify stress and how we can identify and how we can mitigate this? Because sometimes our friends are always telling us, okay, I'm stressed, I can't give my 100% attention or focus to this thing. So how we can identify them and how we can mitigate?
Okay, Andrea, I think Bernadine kind of really shared some really valuable, information about how you can actually have this particular balance. Because, like I said, stress is very different from person to person, what we experience. At the same time, we can't just make like a framework and tell, look, practice this and you'll have work-life balance, right? Because like the final point that she mentioned, saying you need to prioritize. I think that's a solid statement, because for me, the kind of work that I have, so it's very different from what you have and what Bernadine got, right? So then for us, what we need to understand is what we have to prioritize. So coming to the question that you asked, how can we identify that someone is going through stress? It's mostly that you will experience certain things which you don't have a particular physiological explanation. For example, physiologically, you might be completely all right. If you go through certain tests and all that, you'll be absolutely fine. But you will have things like maybe severe headaches, right? For example, like you might say, oh, it's more like having a migraine attack or something like that. Okay. And also you have different aches and pains in your body. For me, whenever there's stress hitting me, so I would like to say that also, I'm also absolutely a normal human when it comes to these things. Just because I'm a mental health care professional doesn't mean that, I'm absolutely fine. I mean, I'm down with the problem. Like, I have all the wisdom in the world to solve it, right? Or to see it. Because I always tell, look, when I'm faced with a challenge or a situation, the psychology I know flies right out of the window. Right? So that really establishes that, I'm also very much noble, very much human. Right? So it takes some time for me, but the recovery process is quite easy for me. So I would say I feel it in my neck and my shoulders, this area, right? So it gets really stiff. Even right now, yesterday I was at the physiotherapist doing the cupping, the treatment, because of the fact that there are so many knots here and there, right? And so whenever there's so much of load happening, whenever I lose sleep, all these things, comes to you. So lack of sleep can be, you might actually suffer from insomnia, lack of sleep, or else hypersomnia as well. You sleep too much. For me, I have written so many examinations, I have fallen asleep because I was so stressed out. For me, it always works in the other way. I have told the invigilator, look, you need to give me like about 1 hour. I'm going to sleep. Please wake me up. Because I just couldn't. I'm yawning. Because whenever I'm stressed out, that's what happens to me. Okay. So you can be on both the sides, right? You might feel so exhausted. For example, you are just lying on the couch, not doing anything, Netflixing and chilling, but still you'll feel like you just worked out about 2 to 3 hours in a gym, right? That lack of stamina, and you feel so lethargic. You feel like your entire body, like it's just pushing you from everywhere. So things like that. And at the same time, even situations like high blood pressure and all those things, so when you test your cholesterol or something like that, then it comes absolutely normal, right? There's nothing. So like I said, there's no explanation for it. And even sometimes I know a person, they have experienced people developing like certain things like eczema or rashes. I knew this girl who would just get a rash whenever there's this examination near. Whenever there is an examination, you just get it, right? And so we like stress is very different from person to person. Certain symptoms are also different. Even things like gastritis also, right? So what you need to understand is, Andrea, that see, things like gastritis, things like diabetes, and all those things are actually mental health related in most case scenario. Why I said, remember I told you the fight or flight response and the sympathetic nervous system being activated. So constant glucose is released to your bloodstream, isn't it? So if you are stressed, that means there's excessive level of glucose released, but no insulin, because you don't have a time to calm down the body, right? There's so much of blood being pumped to your heart, right? So there you go, heart related issues and high blood pressure, right? And therefore, like, you might eat, but no digestion is happening. So there you go, gastritis, right? So this is what you need to understand. You will eat from morning to night. You will whack the fridge, right? Everything in it. You will stress eat like no one's business. But there's nothing, no digestion or any other activity, any activity taking over there. When you go to sleep only, all the organs and everything starts working. So these are some of the symptoms that you can pretty much understand. But stress, of course, it's not something that you can observe in somebody and understand, Andrea. Maybe something like when you go to a level of anxiety, when you go to a level of depression, then yes, you can observe and understand. So you have very like drastic change in terms of behavior and all that. Okay, so no one can say that, oh, this one is stressful or this one is stressful by observing them, because all of us, we go through that, at any point in time, whether, whenever, because life is overwhelming for all of us. And during these days, if you are experiencing whatever I said, believe me, you're absolutely normal, right? Even I go through this stuff, not on daily basis, but in most cases. So then, if you do not experience maybe, insomnia, hypersomnia, aches and pains and, this exhaustion and all that, then you have to be watchful, because then there's something wrong with you. Otherwise, you are absolutely normal.
Yeah, so I think that would be a good explanation to our friends who might have questions like, how should I identify whether I'm stressed out? So you don't have to worry if you're going through these things, because as Ms. Rasini said, that it's something which is really normal. So now my question is towards Ms. Bernadine. In today's world, people experience stress due to poor time management. But sometimes because of this poor time management, we are not scheduling our things properly. But it is something which is very, very important, even if you are facing an exam, if you are working in your office, if you're meeting a deadline for some project, it is something which is really important. But since people have a lot of things, sometimes we don't have a time to sit back and say, like we don't have a time to manage these things properly and allocate different time schedules for our things. So sometimes because of this, we are taking the help of the advanced technology for this. So we know technology is something which is part and parcel to our lives. Day by day, it is becoming closer to our lives. We have to do each and everything through technology, even chatting with our friends, even listening to a lecture, even doing an exam online. We have no other option. We have to work with technology. So sometimes we are trying to use technology to manage our time as well. So then sometimes we don't have times to take regular breaks. We do, because if we think that we are going to university, sometimes in between two lectures, we might have a time slot for a break. But at home, it won't be like that, because we don't feel that we should take a break. We will be sitting on our table and we will be working. Sometimes we don't see, if you want to go to the washroom, no one is gonna bother you. You don't have to take excuses from the lecturer. You can just go and come. So you don't have clear breaks. You can't see clear times to take breaks. So because of this, what do you think? Like, is it we know that managing time is something which is really crucial for our lives. So what is your opinion about this, and what are the solutions that you would like to give towards this?
Firstly, I would like to say, Rasini clearly mentioned about stress, that we all face it. I think that's something that everyone needs to remember. The reason is when we even talk to most of our students and when we do trainings, a lot of people think that when we talk about motivational speeches or things like that, and what they see on social media, they tend to think that everyone's life is perfect and theirs is a mess. And what you really need to understand, I'm saying this because I remember one of the students actually raised that question and asked me once, and I told her, we don't post negative things on social media. The reason is, if we keep saying what we're going through on social media, we are going to share more negativity, and we're going to make other people more stressed. And that doesn't mean that we have a perfect 100% well-balanced life. We also have situations where sometimes we get stressed a little bit, confused a little bit, where we need to take a break and things like that as well. And I really want you to remember and understand that situation as well. So don't get carried away with social media. And I'm not asking you not to share your emotions on social media also, because I don't have any right to say what is right and wrong. But still, it's always good to maybe give a call to one of your loved ones, someone whom you really trust. Because see, emotions, sharing with someone is really important, but with whom are you sharing it is way more important than that as well. So I think that's really important. So don't judge according to social media, and then don't think that you're the only person who's going through as well as Rasini clearly mentioned as well. So getting back to your question, I think years ago, people used to say, we wish we could have worked from home. We wish that we get a chance to work from home. Do you agree with me or not? I know most of my friends, who like say like, oh my God, just see certain people from other countries, they work from home and all these things. Now I sometimes give them a call and say, how, like, your wish was granted. How do you feel? And they share the whole negative, like the complaining. So I mean, the reasons now, like working from home, what are the benefits? We used to spend a lot of time on the road, the traffic, transport, we spend a lot on clothing, especially we spend a lot of time on the road. Part of our life is being spent on the road, especially in a country like ours. And now we've already got a chance to actually work from home. Now, the thing is, I mean, the truth is, I think we humans, especially Asians and especially Sri Lankans, no offense, I love Sri Lanka and I'm a proud Sri Lankan, but I'm talking about all of us. We're really good at complaining. We're really good at complaining. So I always say it's okay to complain. Even I complain, right? But then when we complain, we always have to ask ourselves, do we have a solution? If we have a solution, by complaining, if we can find a solution, then that's fine. But if we don't see a solution for that, why keep complaining? And when we complain about a situation, my next question is, have you, taken action to come out with a solution, or to make sure that the situation can be changed by your action, right? Or are you also a part of that team where the complaining is still happening? So when there's a situation that you're going through, a tough time, what you need to ask yourself is, can we change the situation? If yes, go change the situation. But if the answer is no, then why complain? It's like crying over spilled milk, right? I'm not talking about fairy tales, because all of us are going through a tough time. And even though we say there's nothing impossible, trust in yourself, believe in yourself, control your mind, the truth is we are also trying our level best in learning. So what I want you to do is, you need to be the captain of the ship. You need to take control of your life and be your own cheerleader, own motivator, or get a mentor, someone to keep pushing you. So for me, example, when I get stressed and when I get mixed up with everything, when I feel like I want to give up, I give control to my mother, where I tell her, in case if I come up with all the excuses on earth to come and say that I want to stop this, you have all the liberty and the authority to scold me and push me and drag me and do whatever. So when she starts scolding me, I get annoyed. That's normal human beings, right? So they're like, no, like you don't understand me. And then she keeps doing that because I've already given the authority. Because if I don't give, I know certain things in my life I might not do. Like example, I was doing my second master's. I started with all the confidence and thinking that I can do it and I will do it. While doing it, I was like, why on earth did I even decide to do another one? Like, did I learn my lesson from my first master's? But then I had a goal, I had a dream, and I wanted to achieve it. And I know my weak points. I know where I might get stuck. So when I go and give excuses, she goes like, no, you started, now you've already paid, you better do it. So I have no option and I keep going. Right. So again, diving into the question, I would say that stop complaining. We need to stop complaining. And then we have to see how we can change the situation. And if we can't change the situation, what we have to do is we have to stop complaining and find solutions for that and go on. So let me give you another thing. Like breaks are very important. Getting a break is extremely important. A lot of people think that it's all about running. Yes, it's running. Success is not a destination, but a journey. You win, you achieve, you succeed, you learn, you do not stop, you go, you keep going. But what that means is, don't quit. We're not asking you not to have a break. What we're asking you is, don't quit, but have a break. Just imagine if a machine, a fantastic, best machine in the world, I mean, fantastic. That's like the best machine in the world. If you keep using that, if you don't take care of that, if you don't check the condition, and if you overuse it, what's going to happen? even the machine will break. Similarly, we need to take care of ourselves because it's extremely important that we take care of our body. So how you take care of a machine, similarly, more than that, because machine, you can replace it, but life, what are you going to do? Because your body is the only place that you can live in this world. Do you know that? I mean, your body is the only place that your soul can live in this world. So you really need to take care of it properly. So now there are many ways that we can use technology positively. Now, as you mentioned, it's very important, and it's very important. It's good to schedule, and it's an added advantage using technology in a positive way. I always say that positive way, because as long as you use technology and not use people, and don't let technology control you, I believe it's a positive thing. So use the technology. I think it really helps me. I mean, even to remember certain birthdays and meetings, timings, reminders, and everything. I mean, fitness also, your phone helps you. I mean, that's amazing. So try your level best to use technology to grow as well. So a few things for you to actually do, I would say, would be meditate. Now, meditate, people think like it's about like a lifestyle and things like that. Sometimes people think, oh my God, meditating is I need to like have a very cozy area, close doors. Maybe I have to get into my proper clothing, sit down and all the things. No, that's fine. If you can do that, that would be fantastic. But sometimes it doesn't happen. Meditating, I would say, if you can do that, again, I'm saying that would be fantastic. But if you can't, meditation is all about breathing, all about focusing, and even 1 minute or 10 minutes, wherever you're sitting, you can do it. So try your level best. There are so many guided meditation things happening on YouTube. You can go for that. Just grab one of those and do that. If not, just follow the breathing, follow, focusing, and have quality time with friends and family. That's also very important. And remember the undivided attention I explained. And when it comes to undivided attention, I need to clarify one more thing. That is, whether you're a housewife, whether you're a working mom, whether you're a person who's doing 2 degrees, whether you're doing extracurricular activities, everyone is perfect in their own way, right? We can't say who's great and who's not, right? Everyone has their own story. We don't know their past. We don't know what they're going through right now. So we cannot compare. So we have to stop comparing as well. And what I want to say is, whatever the role, everyone's trying their level best to fight with their battles. So give 100% attention to what you're doing, whom you're talking to, and respect people, be genuine, and we have to help each other all the time. That's something I really, really believe in as well. So, and find the best stress relief ways for you. I mean, you have to find your own way. I think Rasini beautifully mentioned that different people have different ways of getting stressed, and how we react is completely different. So I think even I do have moments where I get extremely stressed with work, and sometimes I don't have a break. And sometimes what we happen is more than the time we put into studying, like if we have a deadline, let me say that we have more hours spent on stressing about that. Right? Sometimes when I have work, I will think, oh my God, I have that event tomorrow, I have that event tomorrow, I have that event tomorrow. Preparation time is 20 minutes, but stressing and the whole confusing time is around 3 days or 3 hours. So if you can try to get out of that. So what I do is sometimes I paint. I can't paint, by the way, right? So I can't paint at all. I'm extreme. I don't know what I paint, but what I do is I put some colors onto a canvas. I don't know whether in a very psychological manner, I don't know what Rasini will mention. This is like my own little remedy, what I do. And I just put all the colors and, do like an abstract, right? So what I do is all my stress is with the canvas, and I say, you lie down on the table and enjoy my stress with you, and I just walk away. And that's one thing. And maybe the other points I'll cover after maybe the next question. So be human, be optimistic, and be realistic.
Thank you so much. So when talking about this time management, actually this question is to Rasini. We have so much of distractions. It means like we might think like we might now, if you are an undergraduate, you might learn, and at the same time because of this COVID situation, if you have time, you might do another job as well as a part-time. It can be either an internship or something. And then again, since you have more time, so because you don't have to spend time in transportation and all these things, you might think, okay, I can do something more. I might be able to join another club, or I might be able to start another professional qualification because I have time. So we think like we have all the time, like we have many time, like we have a good period of time. So because of that, we start doing many things at once. We are starting many things and we are thinking, okay, since I don't have to allocate time for transportation, I can use that time to do an online course. Or since I don't have time to go and meet friends, I can join another club virtually. So we find things more and more, and we try to we try to pack ourselves with many activities at once. And we think that it will be something which is beneficial for us, because we think more the experience we get, more the we will be groomed into a great extent. So what do you think about this, like doing so much of things and like making busy yourself? Sometimes we think if we try to make busy yourself, sometimes then we might not feel stressed and we might not feel these unnecessary things, so I have to focus on something, because of that we are doing it. So what do you think about this, and what are your opinions?
Okay, Andrea, there are a few things I can actually explain over here. One thing is that, like you said, okay, so you are an undergrad and then, you have some free time and then you decide to do something. And then because you feel like, okay, I have again extra time, so you want to get into something else. First thing, if all these things start making you really stressed out, you need to really be accountable and understand, oh my God, I'm the one who got involved in all of these things because that was my choice. Now you can't pass the ball to anyone else. Okay? You cannot do that, because this is something we love to do as individuals. When things are going right, we love to take the responsibility. It's my blood, sweat and tears and my all this, my hard work. See, I'm doing everything, so you're very happy. When it goes like when a misfire or something like that happens, and suddenly you're like overwhelmed and you're like, oh my God, like why? And all that, because of this pressure, because of pressure over here, because of this, so you like to pass this ball. So there, even sometimes, to be very honest, I also go through this quite recently, few weeks back, few months back. And I was like really stressed out because of the fact that I started studying a particular subject, and now assignments are coming, presentations are coming, so I play the role of a student and lecturer both, right? So I know for a fact that this whole online thing is not working, because see, sometimes I also adopt these things, whenever that there are, whenever we have the ability to switch off the camera, I also switch it off, and all the other housework is also happening. Okay, so I know, therefore I make sure that my students are on camera when I teach. Okay, luckily I have a fewer number. So the thing is, okay, so then all that, so I have to study and everything, and other than that I have my counseling sessions which I have to do. So one session will take about 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours, sometimes even 2 hours, or even 2.5, right? All those sessions, and I work till late. Now I'm a lecturer, I have to prepare for lectures. I can't just go and sit and start teaching, isn't it? So I have to prepare for my lectures. Other than that, I have sessions like this, okay, which I genuinely enjoy and I absolutely love. Other than that, I have 2 dragons at home. I'm happy they're not listening. So I have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old, right? A son and a daughter, whose work I have to do as well. Now that's again another 24-hour job. Okay, so it's like that. It's not easy. Now even at this time when I'm here, I can see that they're fighting like cats and dogs outside, right? So like Bernadine said, I'm unable to have undivided attention, so my attention is going there and coming back here as well. So all of this is there. So I was like so stressed out, I was really angry also, and I'm thinking, and then I have certain strategies. Then I thought, what, who got involved in all of these things? One thing, it was my choice to get married. It was my choice to have kids, right? It was my choice to do all this work. It was my choice to get into lecturing. It was my choice to start studying this thing also. It's my choice to become a counselor. It's my choice to do all these events and all these programs as well. So it's my choice. So number one, it's me, right? So then when things are overwhelming, sometimes what you have to do is, Andrea, you need to learn to say no as well to certain things. And it's okay. It's actually better than procrastinating, right? So I decided, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to drop the racket, right? Therefore, sometimes it's very good for you. Sometimes you can't be having few rackets. You take a racket, you feel like this is bothering me, right? You make a list of things that you are doing. For example, I am undergraduate. Okay, so I have assignments and examinations. Then number two comes, let's say you're a part of certain club. Let's say you're the president of Rotaract. Okay. And then let's say number three, I'm studying public speaking or some sort of a thing online. Now you need to see what is priority to me, whether it's being an undergraduate, how much of importance am I ready to give each and every topic, right? Each and every factor. So what is more important to me? Let's say being an undergraduate, I need to do these examinations and all those things. Yes, so that's absolutely essential, okay, for me. Now it comes to those 2 points, right? Rotaract or else this particular course, right? So, tough situation. Okay, so let's say I'm Rotaract president. I can't just say no to this because I have to have this year going in, right? So then maybe after some time, I can do this particular course and that's okay. So you drop that record. Okay, so one thing gone. So for me, I also took that record and I dropped it off, right? Something that's bothering me. So when I actually dropped the record of studying that new subject, actually a massive load went away from me, because the assignment worry and meeting deadline worry and all those worries just went away. But it's just a matter of taking that action. Like Bernadine said, you worrying about it, thinking and, oh my God, this assignment, and the amount of time and energy you waste on thinking about what if I fail this, what if I won't be able to complete this, that's gonna actually consume you really badly. So don't get into that zone. I mean, let's take something very simple, Andrea, right? Let's take something very simple. For example, let's say your phone, it's cracked, right? Let's say your phone, the particular, let's say the screen, it's cracked. You dropped it, right? And it's cracked. Now, every time you call, this is bothering you, right? Whenever you go to, search something, it's always bothering. It looks like it's like Spider-Man has attacked this thing, it's like that. So it's bothering you. So this is also adding on to your stresses, to be very honest. When you look at it, it pisses you off. So then you take the action of changing that cover, first of all. Take an honest look and an analysis of yourself, first of all, right? What are the things that's actually bothering me that I can really drop? Or maybe find a solution, solve it and finish it off. It can be something very small, Andrea. Right? It can be something very small. Maybe even that, whenever it rains, there's this some particular place that leaks water, right? And it really annoys you. So then, more than getting stressed about it, you fix that. So once you fix it, that irritation is not there in you. Right? Let's say your table, when you sit down, it's giving you a headache because you have mountains and mountains of books. You take the responsibility one day, clear it off, right? And then you will not see that mountain again. But if you're thinking every time I sit, this mountain is there, and then that's never gonna solve your problem. You need to take certain actions. And sometimes these things can be very little, very small things. So learn to say no to certain things as well. Of course, yes, it gives you happiness when you are doing a lot of things. But sometimes it's okay to go easy on yourself, right? It's okay to go easy on yourself. I mean, let's say, for example, I'll tell you something that none of us as individuals, we know each other's journey. right? So like even Bernadine mentioned it, we always have put a smile out there. We are out there like that. Do you know about my journey? Do you know what I go through? No, right? You don't. Like she said, that we do not post everything out there on social media and tell people, right? 2 weeks ago, I had to go through a series of cancer screenings, which just sucked the life out of me, right? And I was just, it was not easy process for me. And the thing that hit me was, in 5 years time, 10 years time, what if I do not live to see my kids, right? And then I'm thinking, me worrying about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and I'm losing the moments that I can spend with them right now, which I have absolute control of. Okay. So that is like a mindset change that you have to have. So when I went to the doctor, I went with a smile. Not the first time like I went to see her when I had to go and see an oncologist. This was not the first, was not the way that I went to see her. And I went with a smile, and she was like, right, because I was ready. I was ready to hear, because who knows, I might die from corona, not like you don't have to wait for cancer also, right? So it's like that. And we constantly fear about a future that we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. So to tell you something, we as individuals, we have these two extremes that really bothers us. Number one, we worry too much thinking about the past decisions we've made, right? Why did I came to this university? Why did I decided to study this subject? Why did I say yes to him, right? Oh my God, why did I let her go, right? Why, and why? But then when you kind of think about it, right, you cannot absolutely change it. No matter how much you worry about it, you cannot change it. Okay? You can't. Because to be very honest, Andrea, what you are now today, it's because of all that you went through, right? Every day. For example, if you are worrying that, oh God, like I said something really nasty to this particular friend, or let's say pick a name from here. Let's say Rotarian Janit, right? Rotractor Janit. So then you said, oh my God, I shouldn't have said this to Janit. It was really, really nasty. But today you're saying that because now you learned your lesson. I shouldn't have spoken that way. So you'll never do it again. That's your learning. So you need to forgive your younger self because you didn't have the wisdom you have right now back then to make this decision. So once you made that decision, it's a decision made. Maybe at that time you made the best decision. So yelling at him was the best decision you could see. You never saw any alternative. So this is one thing that's really bothering us. So excessively worrying about the past is not going to help you. Then the next one we have is excessive fear about the future. A future that we have absolutely no idea what the hell is going to happen, right? Many people who were living and breathing yesterday are not doing that today. So how uncertain life is, right? So fearing about, I might fail the examination, I might do this. So I can very, very happily and clearly tell you, look, if failing an examination limits you as a person, I have failed my A-levels in royal style, 3 Fs. What worse can you get? And today you've asked me to come here, right, to give you all this particular wisdom because you think I'm credible enough. Why? Because I never let something like failure to limit me as an individual. Right? I was suicidal at a point in life when I was 18 years of age, when I lost my father. I thought the easiest thing would be getting crashed by a car and death would be peaceful than what I was going through. If I let that consume me as an individual, I wouldn't be here. Right? So everything, I believe that everything you've been through in life is going to be someone else's survival guide tomorrow. That is something you need to understand. So do not ever underestimate your journey. So stop fearing about the future because what you're losing is this particular moment. So in Kung Fu Panda, Master U.OK very beautifully said, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That's why it's called present. Right? If we all live like that every day, how beautiful it would be if we cherish the moments. At this moment, if you feel like this is making me stress, you drop the tracker, right? Drop it, okay? It's okay. You be accountable and drop it. If something is, harming your mental peace, drop it. If you're sucked into a toxic relationship and that person is not making you happy at all, thinking about him is just, make your forehead frown like that, drop it. It's not healthy for you, right? Take action. That's what you need to do. And it's okay, because at that time you're making the best decision, right? So maybe tomorrow you'll feel I shouldn't have done that, but it's okay. At that time I made the best decision. Or maybe something even better is going to come in the future. So it's all about a mindset change, Andrea, to be very, very honest.
Yeah, so I think living that moment and taking our own responsibility for the decisions we make is something that we should do and master, because at the end of the day, it will be something which will give us peace and happiness. So after that, I would like to move towards Ms. Bernadine. I would like to make this a point to talk about something which is really important for our lives, that is communication. Communication and coordination is something which is really, really important for our lives, because if you don't communicate properly and if you don't coordinate your things properly, everything would be a mess. So if you are an undergraduate or a school student, you have to communicate all the things. You have to do your communications and coordination with your friends properly if you want to do an assignment or something. And if you are a person who is working in an office, you have to manage different stakeholders. So communication and coordinating with them is something which is really important if you want to make your job done. So there are so much of things which we can't do, which we can't perform properly if we don't have a proper communication and coordination. So during this time period when we are working from home, we have to communicate and we have to coordinate all the people from home. Sometimes I feel if I have a problem with contacting a person, it can be either in office also, I feel like, oh my god, if I was at office, this won't be this much hard. I can go to that person and talk to him and solve that problem out. But now since I'm at home, I don't know what he is doing. I have to talk, like call and tell my problem to solve this. I have to manage that stakeholder, but if I can't contact that person right now, it's really hard. So everything we are doing, we are sticking to one place and we are communicating, we are coordinating everything. Even even when we are organizing a virtual event, we have to do all these things virtually. We can't do physical stuff. So what do you think about this, like communicating and coordinating all the things from one point? Sometimes it stresses us a lot because we can't meet people and we can't convey our messages properly to the people as we want. So what are your opinions about this?
Interesting, Andrea, and I love how you relate to the real life situations and what we're facing right now. And what I want to say is, when there's a situation, rather than complaining or being upset about it, it's always about looking at it in a very positive way. Again, I'm saying it's not going to be easy, but we have to control our mind to look at the situation in a positive way, right? When we look at it in a positive way, then we save a lot of time and we're ready to go for the solution. So now the solution for that is that communication. What is communication, by the way? To be a great leader, to have a great personality, to have great relationships, to have a fantastic relationship with your colleagues, your friends, or anyone. To be anyone in this world, what do you need? What do you need? Communication. Now, some of you might be thinking, all right, now do you think that only people who can talk really nice can be great leaders? No. Where we go wrong is that we think communicators are the people who talk. Now, communication is not all about verbal. It's not all about talking. There are more than 500,000 deaf and dumb people in Sri Lanka, but they communicate. How do they communicate? Sign language. So communication is about body language. Communication is about vocabulary, again, vocal variation. And again, sometimes just facial expressions can be communication, right? I'm just giving you an intro, then I'll dive into the question. Similarly, I can just come and say, Andrea, you look really great. I know that you're doing some great work. How do you feel, Andrea? Like, okay, everyone in the audience, do you think that I was like genuine? Yes or no? Everyone, come on, type in. Andrea, what do you think? Was I genuine? Andrea, do you tell it? Are you telling to my face that I'm not genuine? Really? Oh my God, thanks for that. But that's the truth. But my vocabulary was right, my pronunciation was right, my content was right. How can you just say that I'm not right? I'm not genuine. It's the vocal variation and the vocabulary, the tonality and the expressions I used. So what we need to remember, it's not all about the content. Sometimes we are over the phone and we might be like, and just, trying to be really polite and nice. And like, I'm sure when you were coordinating this, there might have been so many confusions, so many miscommunications, and most of you might have been stressed with your assignments and coordinating this program. And like sometimes you might say, oh my God, really nice to talk to you after a very long time. Sometimes what happens is, with the whole expression, sometimes the people can understand it from your voice. I mean, if you've been with a lot of people, you really know whether they are genuine or not. But now, if I say, Andrea, I'm really proud of the amazing work you do, and I really love how you handle the session, you feel it. So, for someone to feel it, whether it's work, whether it's coordinating assignment, whether it's coordinating some work, the only thing I want to tell you is that I want every single person to be genuine. And when you're looking into someone's eyes over Zoom, or maybe over video call, maybe one day when you meet them in person, or when you are having a conversation with a stranger, just be honest yourself. I mean, this was not easy for me very long time ago, to be honest, right? But naturally, later on, you understand. Anyway, if you're investing time to talk to someone, why boil my blood when someone makes a mistake, right? If I smile, fake or genuine, it's the same time I'm spending. If it's fake, I'm losing. But if it's genuine, it's good karma, right? So that's something which drives me. So I mean, when you talk, I think communication, you have to be positive, genuine, and enjoy every moment. And as Rasini Beautiful said, talking about the Kung Fu Panda one of my favorite quotes as well. We have to live in the present. So make it a gift, make it a beautiful present, make it a benefit for ourselves also while living it. So I'll give you one equation, right? If you want to be a great leader, if you want to, conquer your dreams or whatever, talking about communication, the question you were talking about, Andrea, the equation that I would like to share with you is that effective communication equals productive relationship. What is it? Effective communication equals productive relationship. If you want to have a productive relationship with your team members, if you want to have a great relationship with your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, or if you want to have a great relationship with your friends or your family, or even a stranger you meet on the road, effective communication will lead you to have a productive relationship. This can be an email, this can be a text message, this can be just over the phone, or this can be discussing some work face to face. So always remember, now today a little bit of homework, right? I'm sure now you have situations where you say, I hate him, I hate her, right? And or maybe now you don't talk to that person or things like that. My question is why? What happened? I want you to stop a little bit, take a break, and ask yourself, why do you hate that person? Why don't you like? What happened? Everything will boil down to communication. Maybe you didn't like the vocabulary he used. You might be tense and you didn't like the tone that person used, or how he or she used her facial expressions to talk to you. At the end of the day, that's the thing, right? So now you need to understand the power of communication. So again, reminding you, effective communication, productive equals productive relationship. Wherever you go, keep reminding you that. I always tell myself, right? I always tell myself, when I talk to someone, I always tell myself, I want, with my words or whatever, if someone is going to be happy through that, I kind of enjoy that. That's something that you can look back and, be happy. I don't know whether what's in store for me tomorrow. I don't know whether we will be there tomorrow or not. In my case, I don't know. So, if I'm to leave tomorrow, I don't want to feel that I lived in vain. I I just want to feel, all right, I did my best, at least in a little way. So for that, again, communication. So even the work that you communicate, it's very important. So communicate clearly. Remember the communication process. I know that we don't have a lot of time to go in detail to that. Maybe Google and figure out the communication process. You have the sender and the receiver and the communication process which happens. Because of the barriers, sometimes miscommunication happens. Right? Sometimes he might think, oh my God, what is she saying? Maybe she didn't understand the question, right? Or maybe the language barrier. So you can see how you can reduce the barriers you have so you can have a good communication process. And another thing is when you're especially dealing with your colleagues or stakeholders or anyone I'm managing over the phone or virtually, don't assume things, right? So communicate clearly, don't assume, always clarify. It's okay to actually ask them if you don't understand. If you feel, I think Sri Lanka, most of the people, what they go through is that if you really go and ask, did you understand? No, I didn't understand what he was saying. මං හිතන්නේ මෙහෙම තමයි කරන්න කිව්ව අපි කරමු. But if you say නෑ ගිහලා හරියට අහගෙන ඕක අහන්න ගියාම හිතයි මම dumb කියලා, like මම මෝඩයි කියලා, you don't want to feel dumb, you don't want to look dumb in front of 2-3 people. So what you do is you do that and you become a dumbo in front of majority of the people. Right? And we are okay with that, right? I'm talking with my with my past experiences, which I also have done, right? So I mean, sometimes you don't want to clarify because you feel they'll judge you. So then you do it, you mess it up in style in front of everyone. So simple thing is clarify. If you feel dumb, that means you're dumb anyway. So that means become a better version of that. So I always tell myself, if I don't understand the realities, I don't understand. If I feel stupid about myself, I am stupid at that moment. So I don't have to keep repeating that. So you understand the reality and then you start developing yourself. Not everyone's perfect. Right? If you look at one of our videos or my videos like long time ago, you feel like, oh my God, delete it, right? So I mean, like you see like what you used to wear or what you used to see or what you used to think about the world, you really badly want like everyone to delete it. You don't want anyone to play it, right? You feel, so I think the moment you feel that, that's when you feel that you have grown to a better personality. But I of course love my humble beginnings because I look at that and I call myself, oh my God, was that me? And then I say, oh my God, I worked really hard. I mean, it was a lot of hard work and no one's perfect like this. It's like so many mistakes, so many weird things we did and we come here. So stress is when we're scared to make mistakes. What I want to tell you is make mistakes, cry, go home and cry. That's fine. But what matters is how you actually wipe your tears and tell you, darling, it's all right. Let's go on. And don't repeat the same mistake. So another thing is, as Rasini beautifully mentioned, the art of saying no. I think that's a huge thing which made me stressful in my life, right? So I mean, I don't like to hurt people. At the end of the day, I get stressed a lot. And that's, I believe that it's, so one of my friends said, you know what, it's not a strength of yours, it's a weakness of yours. So you better work on it. So absolutely true. So prioritizing and, working on it and, trying and level best to, master the art of no, as Rasini mentioned. I mean, it's very important. I think otherwise we're going to be so stressed and we're going to lose the focus on our journey. So a quick one, ask yourself, this is like an extra thing that I wanted to share with you. Whom do you want to be? Ask yourself, whom do you want to be? And after that, what are your goals and la 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 la. And for that to go towards that, have the focus, prioritize and work on that. Again, like maybe if you're talking about the question you asked, if you're having a conversation with them, your colleagues or your stakeholders or anyone, again, what needs to be done, the target and the focus onto that, right? Without being tempted or things like that, to have a clear focus and managing that and the art of saying no, prioritizing, those are very important. And be humble to learn, accept mistakes, but don't repeat the same mistakes as I told you. And a quick one I want to tell because it's communication. Why do we have 2 ears and 1 mouth? There's a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Why? To listen more and speak less, right? So it's really important that we listen more and speak less. I of course love talking and speaking. I think that's all my jobs are like talking. But then sometimes even before we talk, we have listened a lot to talk. Otherwise, we will not talk sense, right? So what I want you to understand is always tell yourself there's a reason there are 2 years for us, like, and one mouth. And most importantly, than that. Now that doesn't mean now in Sri Lanka that happens a lot, right? 2 years anyway, they think that they have 10 years and they keep listening. They forget that they have a mouth. So you need to voice your thoughts as well. If you have a question, you have to open your mouth and clarify in a professional way. If you want to say something, be honest, open your mouth and have that confidence and somehow open your mouth and ask those questions. It's not easy, but have that confidence. It happens with time. I'm not going to take a lot of time there. Otherwise, it's going to be like a lecture. so, and the other thing is, when it comes to listening, when it comes to communication, always remember, don't listen to reply. Like most of us, we listen to reply. Now you might be wondering, hello, if we are not going to reply, what's going to happen? Are they going to assume what's happening in our head? No, don't listen to reply. Listen to understand. You listen to understand. Then if it's needed, you reply. So you listen, you filter, you understand. And if you're supposed to answer, you answer. And accordingly, I think that's really important, especially I think when you're having tight deadlines and assignments, especially over virtually. I think most of y'all are getting stressed anyway, because imagine sometimes today, now from 8 in the morning, I'm still sitting on this chair. Like I'm like talking like right in front of a laptop, right? And I mean if people are going to not going to be focused, or if people are not going to have more clarity, it's going to be like a tension for a lot of people. So you need to know, so prioritize and do your best. And most importantly, live your life. Just be genuine, smile from your heart, live that moment, and enjoy that moment. And I think you have to be your own motivator. I kind of tend to do that a lot, because another quick one maybe is that like even if you have the most luxurious best car with you, right? You have the destination that you need to go, and you're going driving in your journey, right? Will you be able to go to your destination if it's really far? Will stop at points, right? You need to pump fuel, right? If you don't have fuel, what's going to happen? So even if you are super awesome, still we need motivation. Still we sometimes need a mentor. Still we need some kind of some sparks within us. So I mean, we need motivation. Whether you're number one in the world or the best in the world, always remember, you have to keep motivating yourself. You have to keep pushing yourself. You have to keep working hard. Over to you, Andrea.
Yeah. So I also strongly believe that we should keep motivating ourselves, because one thing I also learned is that we shouldn't compare ourselves with others. We always try to be best than ourselves, so that like only then we can be the best versions of ourselves. So yeah, that is a very great advice. So now I would like to turn towards Ms. Rasini. Now I would like to direct this conversation a bit more into a deep level. So what is the difference between depression and anxiety? I know that this is like a deeper form of stress, but sometimes there are people who are going through depression, and there are people who have faced this anxiety, but still they can't understand whether they are going through it, because they are not in a situation to understand their situation. So what is depression and anxiety? Is there a difference between these two, or is there a connection between these two? How we can differentiate, and what are the signs of it? We would like to know it from you.
Okay, so a bit of a complex topic, but Andrea, I would like to actually start it from saying something like this. Now, see, there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of negativity around this whole concept of mental health or mental well-being. Right? So this is something that we need to really take out of our mindset. Now we have, this particular thing. I think I see that we recently also, I said this, I see it very less in the generations to come. People are becoming more and more open about these particular topics. But then it was not like that during, I think, when I was growing up or in my generation. Whereas we had the ability to connecting psychology, mental health directly to Angoda and Mullaria Hospital, right? So that is where you're going to end. If you see that you're going to go and see a counselor, you're going to meet somebody like this, or you feel that, I have a problem, that means, oh my God, you're going to go cuckoo. But I would like to establish one thing over here, that many think that you are insane if you decide you need help, right? But to be very honest, you are absolutely the most sanest person if you decide you need help, because you are mindful that you have a problem. This mindfulness is not something that when you absolutely lose it, when you go to the level of schizophrenia, you will have. Okay, so also coming to the two conditions that you mentioned, depression and then anxiety. Okay, so it's a very commonly used two particular terms. And sometimes people misunderstand sadness for depression as well. Okay, so that is another, like a very common thing that we can see nowadays. And we have this ability of saying, oh my God, I feel so depressed, right? Oh gosh, my life is so depressed. So like that, even sometimes I hear it from my 12-year-old also, and whenever I'm just like this and thinking, and my son would come and ask, are you depressed? Right? So it's a term that he constantly hear, right? So he's thinking, oh, that is associated with me being really worried and thinking about something. Okay, so I always say depression and anxiety, right, when it develops into a disorder level, that is actually a process in most case scenario. I mean, other than maybe genetic factors or else biological factors, yes, has the ability of being, I would say, taking you to these conditions. But more than that, I think it's more of like a process. So certain little stressors undealt with, always having fear, excessive fear, feeling of worrying and fear and, like uneasiness, all this, if you nurture it so much, there is a tendency that it can develop into anxiety. At the same time, same situation for depression also. Let's say something is bothering you, some sort of a stress, or maybe a massive life change, a situation. Like, for example, let's say I think I might have gone through a phase like that, which of course at that time I never had the understanding. No, the people around me had the understanding. When I lost my father, it was very painful for me. So I think, yes, I was feeling really, really sad, but I actually reached out to a lot of people. I was very vocal about it. I spoke about it. I wrote about it, right? For me, I think I completely have so much of gratitude and respect and love for my friends is because of that reason. I mean, I am here today. There's a big part, a massive part goes to them. Right? It's because none of them had knowledge about psychology, Andrea, but maybe they just listened, right? They listened. They were there for me. That is something I see very less in the generations to come. We are becoming very high tech, but very less touch, right? These human connections are things that we are absolutely using. We lack the ability, the capacity of empathy. We absolutely have no idea what is the person who's next to us is going through. But we do not pay attention to people anymore. So like Bernadine said, we don't look, we don't maintain eye contact when we speak. Right? We depend on text and we depend on social media. We think, oh yeah, somebody putting a like to your picture, that means, oh, it must be a friend, right? So you need to have a deeper connection in that. Right? Nowadays, relationships are like 2-minute noodles. So we have gone into that level. So there's very less support. People are talking about it a lot, but very less support. So genuinely people are there or not for you is always a question. My longest friendship is about 33 years. From school days. It was not that we spoke to each other on daily basis, right? But for me, even yesterday, I put a note because yesterday was my father's death anniversary. I put a note saying that when everything just fell apart in my life, there was just one particular thing that held me together. It was my friend who was there with me at that moment. My mom was in pieces. I had no relative who was to support me, who would only say, be strong. That was the only thing they said. That is something I'll never say to anybody. You can't be strong. How can you be strong? I lost my goddamn human. How can you expect that out of me? Right? It's a mess. And that's all people would say. People would want to practice toxic positivity. You know, bad things can happen. Smile all the time. It will not work. So you can't smile all the time. Right? Until that happens to you, because whenever the problem is someone else's, we are all philosophical. But when it happens to us, then we feel it. Okay. So depression is pretty much a process. So little stresses, little worrying, and very big life-changing situations not dealt with, not seeking right support can actually lead you to depression. So how can you identify the fact that you are actually going through depression? Now, these symptoms that what I'm going to tell you has to be there for more than 2 weeks. Every day you need to see this, right? For example, you'll have the depressed mood. Like for children and adolescents, it could be irritated mood. But you have to be very empathetic for nowadays, Andrea, because nowadays most of these symptoms we all have, right? Because of the current situation. Now, this is a very different situation that we are dealing with. So that also we need to be very mindful, okay? Because there's no avenue of venting out the sadness or the frustration. Now, even I think nowadays, your mother being on your face can actually make you depressed. Something that youngsters go through. The biggest problem, my mom is on my face. It's more like she's like, you're just, so these are some of the big concerns, right? These things can also actually take you to such a level. So you lack interest. Now, if you, for example, Andrea, let's say I'm somebody who's suffering from depression and you're seeing, maybe there were things that I used to enjoy in life. Now I don't anymore. You'll ask me, Rasini, so let's say I'm a movie buff, right? And say, what did you watch last? And say, I don't know. I have no interest of watching a movie. And maybe the next day also same. Now, if you know that it was like my daily dose of medicine for me, and I completely stop enjoying that, that's a danger sign, right? So again, like what I said, either you sleep less or you'll sleep more. Right? If somebody's complaining about it, I cannot sleep, I can't sleep, right? That is another symptom. And then maybe excessive weight gain or else losing weight, right? Maybe they are not working out, but the weight is going down. Say, I have no appetite, I can't eat. And this has to go on for a long time. Huh? It's not just that today I don't feel like I'm hungry, I don't have a mood, and then tomorrow you're fine, you eat everything. It's not like that. So it has to have the persistency has to be there. And then, for example, like you feel fatigue, loss of energy, like I told you, exhaustion, and feeling worthlessness. You feel that, I'm not worth it, I'm not good enough, like what's the point in living? I wanna, even see, the thing is sometimes, my son comes whenever I tell, okay, so you have your online examination starting from next week. Oh God, I wanna die. That's not depression. Okay. That's not depression. Right? So you need to understand. So very, very small points you need to understand. So you constantly having feeling of suicidal ideations and suicide. And if you see like suddenly this very cheerful person posting things on Facebook and on Insta and everywhere, like, leaving this body, or, it will be comfort, the pain you're going through. So these are some of the things that you as friends can pretty much monitor. Right? So significant impairment in social and occupational. I mean, if for somebody who's really focused about, getting really nicely dressed up and, being dolled up, and suddenly like not wearing, proper clothing, not showering, you could see a massive change. You should see like a drastic change in somebody to establish that this is depression. And also, another thing, do not go to label people. Right? Just because they're sad doesn't mean they're depressed. So somebody has to clinically diagnose. Now, I cannot clinically diagnose it. I'm just a psychologist. I'm in the bottom of the food chain, right? So my scope is very limited. I know the condition, but I cannot diagnose it. You need to go and see a clinical psychologist to actually diagnose it, right? So then you might have to go through medication, but I think most case what happens is you need to identify what's actually bothering you. Otherwise, it will be like, you have a wound in your leg and you put like a fancy plaster and pretend you don't have a problem. That's what medicine will do to you. So no, every day you will have to consume medicine to feel normal. No, but still you're not addressing your problem, right? Your problem could be you're in a toxic relationship and you don't have the strength to come out of it, but you take medicine. It's more like somebody else is having a stomachache and you're drinking medicine to get over it, right? Until you deal with the problem. So you need to bring your problem face to face and then deal with it. I was very sad to say one day, I'll just quickly mention it. This particular girl spoke to me and she said, ma'am, I just started this relationship, but it was not like we met every day. Suddenly the pandemic happened and all that. But now I feel that our families, the equation is not really matching. So I have doubts about it. And I want to say no to this person. Now it hasn't been a very lengthy relationship. Then, I told her, look, you need to take responsibility, right? And then say, look, considering these things, I don't think this is going to work out, because the emotions are also not attached to it at that time to consider it as a very strong relationship. Then after some time, the mom is actually calling me and asking, isn't there some sort of a medicine you can give her so that, because she's starting university now, she has to see this boy. I said, you want to take medicine so you don't want to see the boy. You can't face the boy. You start taking medicine, you will be sick for the rest of your life. That's a very small problem. Go in front of him, speak to him and say, this is not going to work out, because you genuinely feel it's not working out, right? And in order to do, you want to pop a pill, right? To feel numb and not to deal with it. That's not going to work out, sweetheart. Okay? So that's what you need to understand. And then when you take the concept of anxiety, that's I think the bigger version of stress, right? So worrying or fear or any of those things, not properly maintaining, managing it, actually can lead to anxiety, and even go into anxiety, certain disorders also. For example, generalized anxiety disorder, right? You see excessive unrealistic worry. Yeah, you'll worry for no reason. For example, if commonly say, you feel like, if somebody gets out of the house, any family member, they can die. So you have a very unrealistic fear, right? Now, of course, I also have a certain anxiety disorder. I have to say that also. I have a phobia. I have a snake phobia. Okay. So I have excessive fear. So I'll pass out seeing snakes, right? So I need to actually go through relaxation for that, but I still haven't taken the step of doing that. I should. But so things like phobia, social anxiety, like panic disorders, for small things, you'll panic, you'll have palpitation happening, you'll sweat, and you feel like you're panicking, you're about to pass out, you feel like your chest is tightening. So all these things, this is actually anxiety, but worrying about something that still you haven't experienced pretty much. So it can be, since Bernadine is over here, she's a public speaker, and then so public speaking anxiety, glossophobia, excessive fear of public speaking. You haven't given a speech, but the whole point and idea of giving a speech is making you go through all that. So situations are like that. So that is actually depression and anxiety. So depressed mood is pretty much like, I would say, very toned down a situation compared to anxiety, whereas you're really worked up and all that, where depression is like, oh god, I don't know how to say it. It's more like, I would say, because we also say it's a more cooled off, but a consuming process, whereas anxiety is more of like a very hyped up consuming process. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, HC. So thank you so much for the explanation that you gave on anxiety and depression. So I think in the interest of time, we have come to the end of the session. So I would like to direct the final question to both of you. So I would direct this question first to Ms. Bernadine, and Ms. Rasini can give the answer for this after that. So I would like to know what is the best advice that you would like to give our youngsters on transforming their dreams into a reality? through managing stress and maintaining a good mental health?
All right, so I'll try my best to make it really quick. I can go for days and days and days. So to discover the world, to discover your passion, to discover your career, number one thing that you need to do is you need to discover yourself. You need to understand yourself. You really need to know what is the purpose of your life. So for that, what you need to do is maybe try to figure out your personality test and try to understand who you are, what you really want, not what your parents want, what not like not what the society wants, or not what your neighbor wants, right? Or what your friends' parents want. So I want you to take a little bit break, have some tea or coffee, have some water, walk around, take some deep breaths and calm yourself down and close your eyes and ask yourself, who do you really want to be? And when you hear your name, how do you want people to address you or to think of you if you want that? But if you don't care what other people think about you, as long as you're ethical, that's also fine. So, again, who do you want to be? Why do you want to be that person? When are you going to be that person? How you're going to go and achieve that? And most importantly, you need to define what success means to you, what happiness means to you. You can't compare yourself to another person because you were not born on the same day with the same facilities and the capabilities. So, what you need to understand is you need to respect everyone's journey. So, I mean, I would love to be happy and successful every single day. I want to, right? I mean, I'm sure all of you want to, but the bitter truth is we can't. We can't. I mean, Rasini was sharing how, like, I mean, it's not easy, right? When you lose your dad. I mean, even though someone comes and says, stay strong, only the person who's going through that, I mean, she is extremely strong, which she proved it. But that takes time for all of us. So, what we need to understand is we will go through tough situations. We will go through situations where we feel broken, and we will fail at times, and that's a bitter truth. I don't know, I win today, I don't know whether I'm going to win or lose tomorrow. But the way that we can be happy and successful always, which I try my level best to teach myself, is that if we can be happy for others by seeing someone else's happiness, you can be happy always. And if you can feel successful by seeing someone else's success story, you will be able to be success always. And that's not easy. Like there will be one fellow coming called jealousy and saying, hello, you know what? That person is doing way better than you. And then there will be Mr. Comparison walking up to you. And comparison, jealousy, ego, attitude, what's going to happen is going to cause stress. And you're not going to be able to have like a happy, peaceful life. So I always tell myself, I have one fellow coming up and saying, Mr. Karma always reminds me, hey, darling, if you do good things, you'll have a good life. And if you do bad things, you will have consequences. So it actually helps me to be on track. So maybe you can also come up with a solution for you to keep you on track. And I would say my mom was very supportive for me in that way, because even I used to feel jealous some time ago, right? And that's the truth. And then sometimes that causes you think like, okay, like I'm working extremely hard. Why do I have to go through this? Because I had a very tough journey, right? I'm not going to share my story here today, but I mean, my life was so much of a tough journey. So many challenges. But so there are times I walk to my mom and say, you know what, like it's not easy, right? And then she will always say, do what you can do your best. And there was one time when I was young, I'm still young, by the way. We're all young. So, I mean, I would say when I was small. So, what happens is when I go to school, I'm sure you can relate to this, right? Everyone brings their own lunchbox, right? And like some people, they'll have very creative sandwiches, very cute sandwiches, very interesting snacks and everything, right? When you eat. So when you all eat on your desk and you see everyone eating creative stuff, and my mother put like a very box sandwich, and that box is not also cut into a proper shape, apparently. So I sometimes go home and complain. I say, you know what, like, they bring very interesting stuff in the boxes, and you just put me like stuff like this. So I mean, I keep complaining, right? So then what she used to tell me, like I'll tell the more like modified version, what she tells me later on in my life, when I was doing my O levels and things like that. She always told me, whenever I come and say that I want this and that and all these things and all, she always told me, you know what, when you eat, right, if you want to look at someone else's plate, look at the other person's plate to see what curries you can give to that person, right? Not to see what curries you don't have and that person is enjoying. So if you're having paripo, enjoy your paripo, right? Enjoy your dal. Come on, I love dal, right? I love sambal and rice. That's one of my favorite. But then you don't have to look at someone else's and complain, but you see how you can give it. I think that itself will make your life so peaceful, so successful. So in your life, if you're going through a tough time, be your motivator, get help from other people, and always see how you can give your best to someone else. Because we are born for a reason. And even though we keep achieving, it's limitless, right? I want you to have big dreams, big goals, work hard, but enjoy the journey. When you're walking, if you don't have a bike, look at the fellow who's riding the bike and don't be like, I had a bike at not that. You enjoy walking and think like, oh my God, this is like the best days. And you look at that person and say, oh my God, like that's my dream bike and that he's living it. I'm so happy for him. Maybe I should work hard to do it. So you live your life, you live your journey, you work extremely hard to go for that. So you get the bike, then a Maruti or an Aqua or another car comes and stops next to you. Again, you look at them and be happy. So you enjoy your journey while working hard for that. So likewise, you can keep going. But other way around, what happens is people are annoyed with people compare, people are getting annoyed with other people, and you're not living your life and you're getting stressed. So you're losing your moment, you're losing your dream, and you're gathering a lot of karma. Again, I'm saying it's easy for me to say, naturally things come up. You get angry, you get annoyed, you get jealous. Again, you have to take control of your mind and control your life.
Thank you so much. So we would like to hear the opinion of Ms. Rasini about this question.
Well, I would like to actually say something about what Bernadine said when she said that, when you look at someone's success, like, really bless that, be happy about it. It's actually a practice in Hawaii that those people are said to whenever you see a house that someone has built, and when you see that it is something someday you want to have, bless that particular house, and you will know when you have a house like that, how many blessings you will actually get as a person. So for me, I'll tell you a few very simple things, two things. Honestly, there's a lot I feel like I want to say, like floodgates open. One thing is, Andrea, like from the time that we are born as individuals, we are in this process that we are preparing to live. Okay, we go to school, not enough, university, not enough, find a job, not enough. And then, you get into a marriage because the society is saying, look, if you do not get married, you're not a complete human being. And then, you swallow that pill also. And then people would come and say, oh God, if you don't become a mother, then, that you're incomplete as a person. Then you swallow that pill also, you have kids. And then afterwards, not enough. Then you have the other competition coming. You're in such a high status in the society. You need to have a house that matches that. You want to have a car. You have to wait till your kids go to school and graduate and all of that. And you're thinking, by the time I'm 50 years of age, I'm going to relax, retire and live. And you die when you're 40 years of age. You have constantly been in the preparation to live, but you never lived. But if you kind of think about it, if you want to live, you can actually live every day. It's not very difficult. I make this, I make my kids go through this practice. And if you can see it, this is my daughter's happiness jar. I tell her, baby, before you sleep, write one thing that brings a smile to your face. One thing. You go to sleep with that particular thought. No matter how terrible, horrible the day is, at least maybe there could be one thing. And if you seek it, you will absolutely find it. And if you think my life is too broken, I'm going through all of these things, like I told you, what you're going through in life is going to be someone else's survival guide tomorrow. Right? And that has really helped me. And in Japan, there's this beautiful practice where, like, if a particular thing, like a ball or a vase or something breaks, they don't just throw away the pieces. They put the pieces together and they like glue it together. So it looks really ugly right now. You have all the cracks. Then what they do, they paint it in gold, the cracks, emphasizing that something which has suffered damage, something which was once ugly, has the potential to be something beautiful. And this responsibility is only up to you and you only. Nobody in this society, not your parents, not the society, not your uncles and aunts, all the toxic relatives you have, or your friends, or anybody has the ability to limit you as an individual. If there's anyone who can do that, it's you and only you. And if you're talking about terrible, horrible, miserable, we all have our custom made hell, sweetheart, right? It's custom made for us. Bernadine has gone through her set of terrible, horrible, yet to come in the future as well. We'll never know. I have been through that. Failure, losing loved ones, criticism, sarcasm, all that, right? But still, I never chose to limit myself as an individual. So none of you have it. And I'll ask this final thing. Andrea, are you somebody who says thank you to people? Do you say normally, do you say thank you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So when was the last time you said thank you to someone? Do you remember?
You short while ago, I said thank you to one of my friends because she accepted what I said.
Okay, great. Right. So she accepted what you said. Okay. So can you remember when was the last time you said thank you to your heart?
I can't remember that.
So this particular fella that is inside your body, now for me, 37 years, this particular heart is beating for me. Let's say I have nobody else in my life, but this heart is beating. What if my heart thought, I'm done and dusted beating for this woman, let me take a 5-minute break, right? Game over for you, right? So this is beating 24/7 for you for all these years. And that is a damn good enough reason for you to start thanking this fella who's inside, right? So you start from there. If you feel like Bernadine said, if you have a massive complaint list about life, I don't have this, write it down. And then on next page, you write what I have. You start from your heart, which is absolutely functioning this moment. Next moment, we never know. This moment, it's functioning. So this moment, you have all the capacity and all the energy, right? All the things that you should have with you to make a difference. Then you can be thankful to the lungs that's perfectly functioning, not breathing through a ventilator. That so many individuals right now in Sri Lanka and around the world, they are going through. Andrea, you must be in your early 20s or maybe late teens, right? But what if you have the brain capacity of a 5-year-old? You have a chronological brain of a 5-year-old, right? How would that be? So there are so many individuals like that. So be thankful that, you have a brain that is complementing your chronological age, right? You can be thankful to all these sense organs that's in your body that's perfectly functioning, right? You can be thankful to the 2 legs and the 2 hands that you have. You must be having so many complaints about your house. Too small, I can't even invite friends. Maybe few places are leaking when it's raining. I don't like the color. My room is too small, all of that. But still you have a roof above your head, where so many individuals don't. You must be sick and tired of your mother's food, but you have food on your table. Whereas there are kids in this world who ask for medication, right? Not to feel hungry. You must be having all the complaints about education. Online sucks. Absolutely, spot on. But you are not deprived of education. You are not being shot when you decide you want education, right? You have a school, you have a university. You are getting educated. You all are university students. How many individuals stop education because they can't afford higher studies? Right? Your parents must be fighting like cats and dogs at home, but still, like I said, you have a home, right? So there are so many things. If you all put your mindset into look into all those things, then you will realize that more than the things I complain, I have so much with me. So I have no right to complain, right? So this is life. Life is different. Life is tough. Life is terrible, horrible. But at the same time, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's up to you and only you to make it beautiful, because no one else is going to make it beautiful for you. Do not ever think that, something's going to fall from the sky and make it beautiful, right? So challenges, embrace it, accept it, thinking that it's actually not coming to pull you back in life, but in order to launch you into something or someone amazing, right? So every moment, every second you grow, right? So that's what I think I can say. And thank you so much, Andrea, and all the amazing young blood of Rotaract Club of NSBM for having me here. Thank you, Bernadine. I indeed learned a great deal from her, and a wonderful personality, beautiful personality. I thank this platform that it got me introduced to somebody like her. And I have seen her in action a few times, but I was in the back seat where she was taking all the glory. But very happy for her to see a woman, somebody who's self-made, going places. So lots of love to you. And thank you
so much, Rasini.
It was great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rasini. And I'm sure that you're inspiring many, and we're extremely proud of you as well. And we wish you all the very best success, good health, and to keep inspiring more and more. And proud of you, super proud of you, Rasini. And a very big thank you to Andrea, and a very big thank you to everyone. And we wish you all the very best. Keep flying high, keep smiling, and keep doing great.
So thank you so much. Actually, I would like to thank both Miss Bernadine Jayasinghe and Miss Rasini Bandara for joining us today and for giving us so much of insightful advices. So, and also I would like to thank all those who participated for this session. And a quick reminder, if you couldn't mark the attendance of yourselves, you can just mark the attendance from the form which we have dropped in the chat box. So with that, I would like to thank all of you once again, and I would like to conclude this session with a small message. Before this COVID-19 pandemic, did you ever think that you would have to do your exams online? Did you ever think that you would have to attend meetings through Zoom or through Teams? Did you ever think that you would have to listen to lectures while staying at home through an online platform? Yeah, we never thought. But we had to do it. We had to adapt to those changes in order to, we had to adapt to these changes because we have no other choice. So adapting to changes which are helpful for us to move forward will always lead our lives towards success. So stop focusing on how stressed you are and remember how blessed you are. Stay safe and take care. Thank you.